Good morning. Good morning, everybody. We are live and online. Ready for the coffee chat show. It's been a long week. It's been a long week. And I'm trying to shake some energy out of my being here to do the coffee chat show. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the coffee chat show. For those of you that do not watch us often or have never seen us before, we are here every Saturday morning at 8:30 a.m. Good morning, Jody, Melinda, Jenny. Hi, guys. It's been a long week. Um, yeah. Good morning, Erica. I'm trying to get myself some energy here. Good morning, Gracie, Angie. Good morning, everybody. We are here live for the Coffee Chat Show. Spring is coming eventually. We got like a foot of snow in Vermont. Well, I don't know. Yeah, maybe like 10, 12 inches. Good morning, Janice Heller. How are you? So it was down to no snow, and you could look out the window and see the ground. And I was feeling hopeful for spring. And then, boom, yesterday it snowed all day. I really had to work hard to recreate myself this morning and not be depressed because there's just more snow on the ground. And it just, at this time of the year, it feels like the winter is never going to end here in northern Vermont. And I think I feel like this every year. So, anyway, good thing I know that you can create your own reality and you can make up whatever the heck you want. So, let's just make up that we're happy and excited. Let's get our folks in here. Good morning to our podcast people. Oh, okay. I think I'm gonna have to dump the. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to dump the. There we go. I think I have to dump my iPods, earbuds. So, all right, hold on. We've got spammers here. Tracy's not with us this morning, you guys. She is at a retreat for her church, so you will not see her commenting live. All right, we've got the podcast people in here. We've got our Facebook fam with us. Good morning, everyone. So last week we were talking about the law of attraction, and we were talking about how what you radiate out is what you end up attracting in. And I asked you guys to start looking at, what you're radiating out. So what you're thinking and feeling and how that correlates to what you're attracting in your life. So if you weren't with us last Saturday and you want to talk about that or hear about that, please feel free to go back and watch last Saturday's show. You can find that on revealingleaders.com. You can find it on the Facebook page. You can find it on YouTube. There's audio. And how you can find it all at once is go to revealingleaders.com and then click the appropriate link for yourself. So today we're going to talk about the prosperity law of the vacuum. Not your vacuum cleaner, but creating a vacuum in your life. So spring is coming someday, eventually, soon, I hope. I'm hopeful. I'm excited about spring. So it's a great time to clean out. It's a great time to clean up, and it's a great time to talk about the law of the prosperity law of the vacuum. So what that means is that when you're intending for new good and you're planning for new good and you are working towards attracting new things, new good into your life, you've got to make room for that. Good morning, Janet. Hi, Natalie. You've got to make room for it. So you have to create a vacuum. You have to take out, what's old and what's no longer working, and that makes room for the good stuff to rush in, to rush into your life. This means that, I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. This means that It's time to look around you and see what's no longer serving you. So the prosperity law of the vacuum says get rid of what is old, what is no longer serving you. And it doesn't even have to be old, by the way. If it's lost its usefulness to you, if it's no longer creating joy for you or serving you in some way, it's time to get rid of it. So this means closets, your car, your office. I spent the last few days cleaning my office. I am now today going to go on to my closet. We have also a pantry closet in the hall that is just an abomination at the moment. And then there's the garage, but we're going to wait till it gets a little bit warmer. So this also means thoughts, feelings, old grievances, old opinions, old habits, all of that. Anything that is clogging up your flow, okay? So in order to create new good, we need to make room for it, which means we have to get rid of the old stuff. In order to create new habits, you have to be willing to stop and get rid of old habits that are no longer serving you. In order to create new thoughts that will bring you more joy and more prosperity and more motivation and inspiration, you've got to get rid of the thoughts that are no longer serving you. So last week we talked about how I wanted you to look at how do you wake up in the morning. So when you wake up and you put your feet on the floor and you're getting out of bed, what are your first thoughts there? Is it like, oh my God, it's been a long week. I can't believe it's blah, blah, blah. I have to do this. This person's still aggravating me. This is still not working. Or are you waking up in a space of joy, excited? I would venture to say that most of us are not leaping out of the bed with high enthusiasm. However, we could. You could just make it up. Like we could make up a practice where we just said, all right, for 1 week, we are going to wake up and we are going to just fake it till we make it. We're going to jump out of the bed with enthusiasm and we're just going to be so excited about the possibility of the day. Because most of us are not waking up like that. And most of us have closets and cabinets and thoughts and behaviors and all of this stuff that's bogging us down and is no longer working. Procrastination is something you can get rid of. Putting things off. I myself have been terrible at working out lately. Like the last, I don't know, probably 3 months. Awful. And every morning I beat myself up about it. And every morning I'm like, I need to do something different. And I have news. The only way that something different is going to happen is if I make it happen. And I know this because I teach it. I talk about it. I've been teaching it, Jesus, for like 2+ decades, and I still right now am extremely challenged myself in my own mind with like getting out of a habit that doesn't serve me. Okay, so if me, who's been practicing these principles since I was 12, which you guys know, and I'll be 54 this year, if I'm still having a tough time navigating myself through some stuff, I promise you that regular folks that have not studied so long are equally challenged, if not more so. Erica says she keeps saying she's going to work out and she never does it. And then she regrets it. Erica, that's me on the daily right now. I swear to God, that's what's happening. And I know better. And So here's the thing. The prosperity law of the vacuum says get rid of what's not working and what's no longer serving you. This includes these behaviors, right? That includes beating ourselves up about stuff that we're not doing, that isn't working. It includes the drawers, the closets, the crevices, that drawer in the kitchen counter catch-all. We have a tray in the living room on top of the ottoman, and there's, stuff just gets put in there. Putting things in corners. Oh, I'll put that away later. That kind of stuff. Erica's saying she even found a group of ladies to work out with, but she never makes time to go meet them. Erica, maybe you and I should start a pact that we're just going to start working out. Maybe we need to email each other or text each other and and be accountable to each other. Erica cleaned out her junk drawer in the kitchen. That's my next stop. I have a trash bag ready to go. So the only way to do something different is to do something different. There's not like some magical being that's going to come from the sky. There's not. Erica, email me and I'll do it with you because I'll have to prove to you that I can do it, so that'll make me do it. Nothing new is going to happen unless you make it happen. It's, you know, it's like a magical being, like I said, is not going to fall out of the sky and all of a sudden change your life and make me work out when I'm not working out, or make me use a to-do list every day, which is the other thing that I'm not doing. You've got to go to war with yourself and shake yourself out of the shit that's not working. Nobody else is going to do this for you. You've got to be able to do it for yourself. Now, here's the good news. When you start getting rid of the old shit that's not working, or you start doing something that you've been putting off, or creating a habit that you haven't had before that serves you better than the old habits that you're leaving behind, you'll gain some energy from that. So when you work out, you gain a little bit of energy. That day, you got it done. That gives you a little bit of oomph to get into the next day to get it done, and so forth, right? So eventually you're going to create and catch momentum for making new things happen and for shaking yourself out of the old ways of being. So spring is approaching, and it's a great time to clean out. It's a great time to enact the prosperity law of the vacuum. And it is a great time to start looking around to what no longer serves you. Let's just talk about closets for a minute. So if there's, I think Marie Kondo, right, has the, she talks about cleaning out the junk. And I think she says something about if you haven't touched it in, I don't know whether it's 3 months or 6 months or a year, whatever, you should get rid of it. So I would go even one step further with that in regards to your clothes and your closet. And I would say this, if you are wanting to take, good morning, Angie, if you're wanting to take your life from here to where you want it to go, which is what we are continually talking about, right? Creating the life that you want for yourself instead of the life that you're settling for. So if you have clothes that when you put them on, they don't make you feel like where you're headed, get rid of them. Get rid of them. So they're not serving you, right? Because probably you're not even wearing those clothes anyway. And when you put them on, you don't feel great, so you probably don't wear them. All right? So they could be useful. You could sell them. You could bring them to like a Plato's Closet, or sell them on a Poshmark, or good morning, Rosie, my sister-in-law is with us. Or you could donate them, or you might have a friend that is in need of clothes, or you might know there might be a women's shelter that you could bring the clothes to. So just because they're no longer serving you doesn't mean that they could not serve someone else. And if when you put them on, you don't feel like how you want to be, where you're headed in the future, then just give them away. I literally ordered a jacket. It came the other day. It doesn't suit me. It's because in Vermont, there's no place to shop. So I end up buying things on Macy's. And I had already thrown away the stuff to return it. And, oh, the cat has a lot to say this morning. And so I'm just going to give it. I'm going to send it to a girlfriend of mine because I think she would like it. Literally, the tags are still on it. So it's okay to get rid of stuff that, is brand new, that you never wore it. Maybe it doesn't suit you. The mood that you were in when you bought it might not be the mood that you're in now. It's all right to release stuff because keep in mind, you're creating a vacuum. You're giving things away, you're getting rid of junk, you're cleaning things out, and you're creating a space for new good. You're creating a space for new clothes, new items, new habits, new behaviors, new thoughts. You're creating an open space for new good to rush in and fill it. So this whole new body of work that I'm talking to you about, this whole practical change with all the different points that we talked about last week, sort of this triangle with like the prosperity plan and the personal power stuff, and the habits, your practices and routines. So it's this, I'm still working on a graphic for a downloadable for you guys. And this week was just so busy with work, I didn't have time to get to it. But that's kind of the model that I'm working with, is a triangle. And so we're going to keep talking about points, on that go sort of all around. So this whole thing that we talked about last week, where are you radiating and what are you attracting? And now we're talking about like getting rid of what's not working so that when you are attracting, you have space to hold the new good. You've got to get rid of what is no longer serving you in order to create room for what you want and what you're working hard to create. If you are using some of the tools that we've talked about for years, and you're saying affirmations and you're doing manifestation lists and you're working every day to bring in the new good, you have to have a place to put it. You have to have a place to hold it. The other thing to release is old opinions about people and things, aka forgiveness of situations, grievances, people and things. Remember that forgiveness is really for you. It's not for the other person. And forgiveness doesn't mean you forget things and you allow people to treat you poorly ongoingly. Forgiveness means that you are willing to just let go of what you're holding on to so tight. So when we hate someone or when we dislike someone or when we're angry about something, it creates like this very stuck energy. And when you can just release it and let it go and forgive the person, situation, thing, grievance, whatever, just let it go. Let it go. Because honest to God, what good is it doing you? It's holding you back from the new good that can come into your life. Erica says she's been working on letting go of past grievances, and it's really helping her. It really can create such a freedom in you. You don't even have to have a conversation with anybody to do a big act of forgiveness, by the way. You can do forgiveness affirmations unbeknownst to anyone else. You can write a letter to someone, saying your piece and telling them that you forgive them, and then you can just burn it or throw it away. The act of forgiveness is really in here. It's you being willing to release old, pent up, tight grievances, feelings, and all of that, and just let it go. And you're doing that for you. It's not for them. Never mind about them. I'm not worried about them. This is for you. Because if you're working hard to create a life that is blessed and abundant and amazing, and you are wanting to bring in new good, if you are holding on to old grievances and angry feelings and all of that stuff from the past, if you're still holding on to that, you're literally like traveling with a big hefty garbage bag behind you, dragging it on a string. So as much as you try hard to push forward and push ahead, there's always going to be a drag behind you. So you won't freely be able to walk into your new good and your new way of being until you can let go of all that shit from the past. Erica is again saying she realized that by holding on, she was only hurting herself and not them. This is true. Because most of the time, people that did stuff that hurt you, they don't even know. They did the best that they could for who they were in that moment. And most of them are effing clueless that they even did anything that hurt you. It's usually us, the hurt people, that are holding on to, how could they? Who do they think they are? I can't believe they did this to me. All that stuff. Because they probably moved on with their lives already and they could care. They're doing their thing. And you've got to do your thing. And in order for you to do your thing,
you have got to let go of all of that. Dolly's saying something about it took her a long time before she realized her negative emotions about her ex-husband were not rewarding her. Truth. Lots of people have old grievances about boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, families. You know, they did this, they did that, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. The list goes on and on. We don't even need to go there. We all have things that require forgiveness and forgiving. Sometimes it's even forgiving yourself. That's a big one. That was a big one for me just recently. I was rereading a prosperity book by Catherine Ponder. And in there, she talks about sometimes the biggest piece of forgiveness work that you need to do is forgiving yourself. Forgiving yourself for, allowing something, forgiving yourself for behaving in a particular way because you didn't know better, forgiving yourself for missing the mark, for not standing up for yourself, whatever the case may be, for not protecting yourself. Sometimes the biggest piece of work to do is to forgive yourself. So all of these things make up kind of the blockage as to why you can't move ahead as fast as you would like in your life. Also, there's a theory that any illnesses and, conditions that you're having a hard time getting past, all that somehow leads back to some forgiveness work that needs to be done. Again, I was just reading, I think it's Prosperity Secrets of the Ages by Catherine Ponder. I've just been revisiting a lot of these prosperity books by her, which I've studied my whole life, by the way. But every time I read them, I find something new in there. And so I've been rereading these so that I could, teach this new body of work more concisely. Sometimes you don't even know what there is that you need that requires forgiveness. So you can just ask. You can kind of sit quiet and you can ask to be shown where forgiveness work is required. And then the great news is you can literally, like I said, just say forgiveness affirmations or do forgiveness and release work. Nobody needs to know about it. It can be a quiet thing. It can just be your own sort of thing that you're doing, taking maybe 5-10 minutes every day to just forgive and release anything that requires forgiveness or release. It's a great way to go into the spring. It works fantastically in conjunction with cleaning out the physical stuff, cleaning out the mental stuff and the physical stuff, and just making a big space for the new good to come. So it doesn't make any sense to start talking to you about tools and practices and things like that to create the new good until we do this sort of historic work about determining where we're radiating every day, and therefore what kind of energy we're attracting to ourselves. And now the second piece of this is looking at what needs to be let go of, i.e. the prosperity law of the vacuum. What mental conditions, what physical things, all of that, what requires cleaning out and letting go of. So again, this is a mental and physical work to be done. So if you have grabbed a notebook to be doing these coffee chats, I recommend that you could even write in there, what needs to be forgiven as a question and see what presents itself to you. And you could even say what needs to be eliminated, and that might present itself to you. You might have an idea to clean out a particular closet or a particular drawer or give something away or whatever the case may be. So I would encourage us all to, in this coming week, let's start looking at what do we need to release, loose, and let go that's no longer serving us. What attitudes, what habits, what practices, what routines, what physical items, what ways of being should be let go of that are no longer serving us. If you are always stubborn or always difficult to contribute to, or if it's difficult for you to receive because you don't want anyone giving to you because then you feel like you owe them something, or if you always are trying to control stuff, just let go of all of that. Be open to new ways of being. Be open to hearing something different. Be open to learning a new way. And being kind to yourself, as in not making yourself wrong or beating yourself up when you're not doing it. Be open to being kind to yourself, giving yourself some room, and still doing the work that you'd rather not do, called making new routines, new habits, new self-talk, and cleaning out closets, drawers, and all that. So this isn't about beating yourself up for what you haven't been doing or what isn't working or what isn't happening. This is about taking a really hard look at what you want to let go of and what you want to move ahead with. That's really what this is about. So you kind of want to draw a line in the sand and say, okay, if I'm really going to create the life that I want versus the life that I'm settling for, what does that look like? What behaviors wouldn't serve that? What clothes do I have that don't represent that? What items in my home do I have that don't really represent where I'm headed? What behaviors? What are the sentences that I say out of my mouth every day? Does that bring to me what I want more of? If you really understood that every single thing that comes out of your mouth goes forward to create your future, if you really, 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 really understood that, I feel like we would speak a lot differently. We'd probably complain a hell of a lot less, including myself. Dodie's mentioning that she forgave but didn't forget. Agreed. I'm not saying that forgiveness means that you should go back and, revisit the people that you feel did you harm. I'm not saying that you should, blur boundaries. I'm saying that when you're holding on to stuff like this, it's only hurting you. It's not hurting them. It's time to just let go of all that old shit. If you meet people that are constantly revisiting the grievances of the past in their conversation, and then you look at what they're creating in their lives, like just look at their lives and their circumstances, you'll be able to make that correlation for yourself. Bitter, angry people that only complain and talk about what's wrong don't have the best of circumstances. And sometimes, monetarily, they look like they have great circumstances. And usually, if you looked a little further, you'd find out that perhaps they have a health condition that you didn't know about, or perhaps their relationships are not working the way that you envisioned that they were. All of that. If you are being toxic and that's what's coming out of your mouth and that's what you're putting out there into the world, that's what you will bring back to yourself. Universal law of attraction. It's just a universal law. I didn't make it up. Go look it up. So this week, I encourage you to, anybody that wants to take on the challenge, I encourage us to get rid of, bags of stuff that are no longer serving us in our homes. I promise you, you probably could at least find 1 or 2 bags of things that no longer serve you, that you could get rid of in your house. That may very well bring good to someone else, And to start to look at the things that are no longer serving you. And if you are like me, wanting to work out, and every day you're making yourself wrong for not doing it, why not just do it? You know, why just stop the story to myself about why I'm not doing it, and recognize that if anything is going to change in my life or in your life, it's going to be because we changed it, because we are the warrior people that took it on and decided to make a change and stopped complaining about what isn't working. So that's what I'm encouraging for this week. And I'm encouraging that you continue to look at what we talked about last week. So this new body of work, one's going to build off the other. So if you miss one, you can just go back and watch. Visit revealingleaders.com and you can find the links to the audio podcast and the YouTube and all of that. And also these videos remain up on Facebook too in the video section. So you can always go there and find them. So last week we talked about what you are radiating out there into the world and therefore what you are attracting to yourself. And this week, this morning, we've been speaking about the prosperity law of the vacuum, what is no longer serving you, getting rid of what no longer is serving you. And that is attitudes, people, things, stuff, behaviors, routines, all of it. Okay? All of it. And what you can forgive also. What forgiveness work requires doing so that you can move into this. Let's move into this spring season with a clean slate. Let's really work hard over the next couple of weeks to talk about and divest ourselves of all the crap that is not working for us. And let's have it be a rejuvenating spring season when we start talking about the tools and the things that you can do to actually create this life, this new life that you want. But first we have to do the dirty work. First we have to recognize what we're doing and how we're radiating out and holding ourselves. And second, we have to start to do the digging work on what's holding us back and what's stopping us. And then we can start to talk about how to make a new path. So I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Remember that you can generate joy and enthusiasm and excitement for no other reason than you said so. So I encourage you, for anyone that's like me, facing the winter doldrums a little bit, that we recognize that we can create whatever we have, whatever we want. We can create whatever we want to do. We can create however we want to be. And we can very much create this clean slate for ourselves as we walk into the spring season. All right, I'll see you guys next week. We'll say goodbye to our podcast folks and Facebook fam. I will see you next Saturday morning at 8:30. Have a wonderful day. And Elsa's reminding everyone to promote your own self-esteem, which is a great thought. All right, you guys, take care. See you soon.